Do you and your partner engage in passive-aggressive relationship warfare? Is it so hard sometimes and so evil that you are looking for a way out? If so, check out this video for what you can do if you're in a relationship where retaliation, tit-for-tat, and passive-aggressive is the way that you try to solve problems. Hey guys, Richie here, and today we're going to talk about losing strategy number 4, which I call retaliation. So retaliation is the mindset that of one of the partners or both partners saying, I'm going to make you hurt the same way you made me hurt. I'm going to even make you hurt even worse. Retaliation is often offending from the victim's position, and people feel justified, and our partners feel justified and shameless in doing so. This is because they were hurt first. So if you ever thought, if they did this to me, I'll do that back to them, or experience with your partner, this video is for you. So let's first understand why this happens. Retaliation, tit-for-tat, or passive-aggressive behaviors often stem from one of the 4 core relationship problems that I see in people that are struggling in their relationships. So number 1, feeling unheard or invalidated. This is one of the top problems that I help couples with on a daily basis. So if your partner never listens to you, or let me rephrase that, they hear you, but they are not responding and not listening, that makes the partner so frustrated, which builds resentment. No matter how many times you say the same thing, it lands on deaf ears. Resentment is poison in the relationship, and I have a couple of videos about resentment here on my channel. I think it's one for people pleasing. When you and your partner are not being heard, retaliation is typically what happens to make them hurt you as bad as you do. So let's talk about number 2, hurt or resentment. Hurt and resentment that hasn't been addressed is the poison in the relationship. This is how resentment works. My wife tells me that that I cut down all her flesh flowers that she just planted because I was careless with the weed whacker. And when she said it, she yelled at me. She made me feel bad inside. I ignore her and say, I'll blow it off. Take a breath and maybe mumble it a little bit under my breath. And when I'm doing that, and I'm not standing up for myself and saying anything, I put a deposit in my resentment bank, okay? And I'll talk more about that in another video. So a week later, she loses one of my favorite socks. Yes, I do have favorite socks. And I go ballistic. I call her irresponsible. I tell her that she's just like her mother. And then I go on to say she is a terrible wife. That's all a lie. My wife is awesome. And that, my friends, is resentment. When we push down something or we think we let it go, do we really? Take a moment and think about the last time your partner said something to you that was maybe hostile, aggressive, or maybe a little bit evil or shameful. Did you let it go? Maybe, maybe not. Number 3, a desire for fairness. Even if it's misguided, we want all things equal in relationships. And if our partner is not meeting our expectations, and we continue to tell them over and over again, that builds resentment. We are tired of doing all the work in the relationship, or maybe in the house. So what happens is we stop asking because we are not heard, and we start demanding and being passive aggressive. Instead of asking them to do the laundry, you say, I guess I'm going to do the laundry again because nobody in this house will lift a finger to help me out. That is classic passive aggression. While your partner is sitting there and saying, is she saying that to me? Maybe because I don't think our 8-month-old can do the laundry. So that's passive aggressive. Number 4, it's a defense mechanism. And I call this offending from the victim position. And it's a way to regain our control, our balance in the moment when we feel things are not fair. But unfortunately, it always makes things worse. Do you understand that? It always makes things worse. And the partner that felt offended and was the victim, they feel justified in their action. And that's why they offend from the victim position. You yelled at me yesterday, which made me, feel bad. So I'm going to yell at you now and call you names and make you feel worse than I did. Okay? And this becomes so evil and toxic. Partners don't sometimes even realize they're doing it because they feel so justified in their actions. I want you to think about this. When one partner retaliates, passive-aggressive, tit-for-tat behavior, it creates a vicious cycle. Partner A hurts partner B. Partner B retaliates, which turns partner A on them again. And the pattern repeats and it goes around and around. So instead of resolving issues and solving problems, you are both building walls of resentment towards each other. Because you are triggering each other, and this becomes a dysfunctional dance in your relationship. Is this how you love each other? That's a question that you need to ask. Being mean and being evil and verbally aggressive and passive aggressive? I want you to ask yourself a question. At times, is it so abusive and verbally violent that you feel unsafe? Okay. So those are the 4 reasons why it happens. So why doesn't this approach work? Well, I could tell you a million stories. I'm working with about 30 couples or so now, right at this moment. But here's why it doesn't work. Number 1, it escalates conflict. Instead of solving the problem, solving the issues, you're adding fuel to the fire. Do we want to problem solve or do we want to create more problems? It's funny, most of the times when couples engage in this retaliation, tit-for-tat, passive-aggressive behavior, they almost 95% of the time forget what the original argument was about. And it's like, so what was the root? What caused the argument? I don't know. You don't know what caused the argument because what was said post that original argument was so offensive, evil, and attacking that it made that first problem insignificant. Now we have bigger problems. So we go from someone not making the bed to you to you are the worst person in the world. How do we get from there to there? It's crazy, right? Why do we do it? Number 2, it erodes trust. If your partner feels you'll retaliate, they may hold back and build resentment in their resentment bank and hesitate to communicate with you honestly. And they become walled off, right? And those walls with resentment can get bigger, higher, and thicker. And then you'll call them, well, they were emotionally unavailable. Yeah, they were emotionally unavailable because possibly you're passive aggressive and hostile towards them because you felt victimized and they weren't hearing you. So maybe that's why they're emotionally unavailable. And number 3, it replaces connection with competition. I ask a lot of my couples when they're engaging in this behavior, it's like, are you guys keeping score? Well, no. Well, it's like, it sounds like you are keeping score. Is that how you want to go through your relationship? Isn't life hard enough that you want to keep score? Relationships thrive on partnership, not rivalry. It's Us against the world, not me against you, because that's not relational. Keeping score is not relational, and most of the time it fosters guilt, remorse, and criticism for our partners, which is the last thing either of you probably want. So how do we break the cycle? How do we break the cycle? Okay. Step 1, pause before reacting. Everybody, you cannot allow that adaptive child protector in you to take control of your relationship, because that will create so much drama and chaos, because it's a younger version of you that's trying to defend themselves. So you got to get out of that mindset and don't let them take over. Be the wise adult that's hopefully, or most likely, the wise adult that is watching this video right now. And wise adult, we're in the present. We're calm, cool, and collected like a cucumber. I still don't understand why a cucumber is calm, cool, and collected. But that's beside the point. So pause before reacting. When you feel the urge to retaliate, I want you to stop. Stop in that moment, because this is more of a self-awareness that you have to bring to your own thoughts and your own feelings. Ooh, I felt a little shame right there when my partner said A, B, and C. Take a breath, get emotionally grounded, whatever that means to you, to get to a place where you're a wise adult again. You're not emotional. Don't allow the adaptive child to take over. And then ask yourself, what's my goal here? Do I want to push them away and make things worse, or do I want to solve the problem? Do we want to solve the problem? Number 2, express your feelings. Instead of reacting, communicate using like the I statement. I feel ABC. I feel as though blah, blah, blah. I felt hurt when you did XYZ. Can we talk about it, please? Because you will never get what you want if you yell, complain, and retaliate. Never. If our partners love us, they will hear the emotions that you are feeling. They'll hear that. Yelling about it, they're going to tune the dial, like I said, tune them out. If they are not, it may be time for a change. And passive aggression is not a healthy relationship behavior. It is rigid, it is sharp, it is cutting, it's adaptive childish. If you feel that you have to say something, don't bury it. Say it. And with the most soft, loving power you can. Number 3, practice empathy, right? We love our partners, I hope. If you're not, you probably shouldn't be watching this because you don't give a shit. Practice empathy. Try to see the world in this situation from your partner's perspective. This doesn't mean agreeing with their behavior, but understanding their emotions behind it. If I planted flowers all day in the garden and then she came along and used the weed whacker and cut them all down, would I be aggravated with her? Yeah, I think I would be. So ask yourself, if I were in their shoes, how would I feel about this incident? Number 4, focus on problem solving, right? We lose sight. As soon as we start triggering each other, we got to take a time out because we lose sight of the main problem that started the conflict. How do we solve this problem together? How can we fix this as a team? Hey, honey, how can we put our heads together and solve this problem instead of arguing about it? Because that's not going to get us anywhere. It's only going to create more walls and more conflict in our marriage. Remember, breaking out of tit-for-tat in relationship patterns takes time and effort, and both partners have to be engaged. But the good news is, even if one partner is not showing patience and willing to compromise, they are not in their wise adult. You can be. So if you're in your wise adult and the partner's not, you win, they lose, the relationship metza. If you both are in your adaptive child and retaliating, you both lose and the relationship loses. Okay, so relationships are not about keeping score. It's not about retaliation, tit-for-tat, passive-aggressive behaviors. It's about connecting, finding compromise, and actually communicating about challenges. I hope you like this video. Like it if you like it. Share it. The more likes I get, the more I feel better about making more of these videos. So that's it. If you want to get more of this content, subscribe to the channel. And there's the other losing strategies, my playlist right here somewhere. Okay, bye.